Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. I am super excited for today's video. It is going to be my 5th update in my Rolling Project 10 pan, and it's crazy to believe that after this month we are going to be halfway through the year. I do not feel like I had a very successful panning month, at least in terms of my Rolling Project 10 pan. I feel like I said this in maybe one of my makeup diaries videos, but I feel like I woke up on April 1st and then suddenly it's the last day of May. How did 2 months just like fly by? I am so excited for the summer though. My goal to myself is to spend as much time outside as possible, so hopefully I can still squeeze in doing my makeup quite frequently. Maybe I can just like do my makeup out on my patio. I don't have the most exciting progress to share with you. That's essentially what I'm getting at, but I do have one empty that I will be rolling out, and then I do have 2 products that I'm going to be exchanging for other products. One product I'm gonna end up decluttering, so I'll change that out for something. And then my blush wand, my Charlotte Tilbury blush wand, I'm gonna switch out for one other blush product. So if you're interested in my update, what is empty, what is definitely not empty, what is not going well, and the products I'll be rolling in, stay tuned for. If you have yet to subscribe to my channel and you like project painting content, palette themed content, or just chit-chatting about makeup, I'd love if you'd consider subscribing before moving on. And other than that, let's jump into the video. Hey guys, I'm pointing this out not because I think anyone else is gonna notice this, but I notice it when I'm editing and it drives me bonkers. But I am in the middle of my Invisalign case, and basically because my teeth are so crowded on the bottom, they had to like shave down some of my bottom teeth, so my teeth looked really straight, and now there's like a gap in the center again so that there's space so that my snaggle tooth can unsnaggle. And it drives me crazy when I see it as I'm editing, so I just had to point it out. Like, I know it's there, the teeth should still be coming together, so no fear. Okay, let's start with the least exciting. As always, we can start with my Natasha Denona Glow Highlighter. I maybe reached for this one time since the last update. I feel like there might be a little bit of visual change since the last update though, because this was really starting to get pretty bad hard pan, so I kind of like ran my finger around the entire thing, and I feel like I kind of like accidentally chipped off a little bit of it, so I'll be really curious to see what this looks like. I've told you guys in my last couple of updates that we're gonna be highlighting my shins this summer, my kneecaps, all the things. Why is my ice machine so loud right now? Anyway, the whole body is going to be highlighted. Maybe I should highlight my elbows. Like, that would really be a look. So I'm hoping to work my way through this product by highlighting everything on my body, but I have not used this much and I don't think there's a lot of visual change. I've also been kind of leaning into like a more glowy highlight these days, and this is more subtle. And me leaning into a more glowy highlight is definitely like a shift. It's definitely a shift, so we'll see. My goal is to just see how much I can get through. I feel like no matter what, like no matter where I'm at with this product at the end of the year, this is something I just like don't necessarily want to bring into 2025 with me. It's just so old, so would love to get through that. Okay, this is gonna look a little bit different because I have repressed this. It's my ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in the shade Ritz. I'm gonna be really careful when I hold this up because it's a little bit crumbly and my pan kind of falls out, but this is gonna look very different than the last update. The last picture I have to show you guys, this looked all but empty. Like there was just like the outer perimeter of product left, but that is how these Super Shock Shadows will deceive you. It looks like you're just about done with the product and you actually have so much product left. So I use this, I would say maybe 6-7 times throughout the month of May. Like, I'm using it. I knew when I rolled this into this project this year that it would take me the good majority of this year to finish, if I were to even finish it, and it is proving to do just that. I will say I've definitely been opting for a more light neutral eye look. Sometimes I'll just toss this on my crease, sometimes I'll just do like one matte shadow in this in my lid is what I meant to say. So hoping that I can continue to get more use out of this and hoping that I can finish this by the end of the year, but I feel like we have not made great progress on this year. Another product that we have not made great progress on, but I feel like I was better about reaching for this update than I have any of the other updates. It's my Kosas lipstick in the shade Vegas, and I do have this on my lips today. This is very old. They have since reformulated. This is how much product I have left. My goal is to finish this by the end of the year, or this will be getting decluttered. I don't necessarily know that I'm gonna finish this entire product this year. Like, especially because I feel like we haven't really made a dent in this since rolling this in. it is definitely starting to really get that Play-Doh smell, but I haven't noticed like an adverse reaction. Watch, I'll end up getting like food poisoning or like really ill, and then you guys are gonna be like, girl, you're stupid. But I'm gonna keep using it. I'm gonna keep using it and see what we can do. I want to try it on my cheeks, but I'm like, are my cheeks gonna break out then? Plus I feel like my skin has just not been happy with me pretty much all year, so we'll see. I hope that I have line markings to show you guys over here. I'm sure we made like a little bit of progress. I say that, watch, and then we'll see like no progress, but we're still working on this. We're still working away at it. The product that I'm going to declutter and roll out is my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Contour Wand. This smells like paint thinner. Like, this is definitely gone off. And I haven't necessarily noticed an adverse reaction on my skin when I use this, but I just don't like this product anymore. And I am now 33 and I just literally don't have time for products that like I'm just using to try and empty out. If I like the product and it's not a favorite, yes, I'm gonna try and use it up, but like I don't like this product anymore. And I think it's really hard for me to admit that because I did really love this product when I first bought it. I really liked it for like a solid 6 months, maybe even a year. But this, there's cream and liquid bronzers on the market right now that just work for me so much better than this product does. And I feel also that like I'm kind of like so close to finishing up and like having a hard time. Like the panner in me is like, well girl, you're like giving up on a more than half used product that like you could use up. But I am so much happier to be reaching for my Chanel Healthy Cream Bronzer over this. And this actually cost me more money. So like I would rather use this that makes me happy, that I think looks good on my skin, than just use this just to use it up when I don't enjoy this product. So I'm gonna end up decluttering this product, and I will roll in a different product to replace this at the end of the video. We have my Rowan 75 degrees quad, and I believe I got more use out of this. Yes, this was my highest used month. So I didn't want to do a pan that palette this year, but I thought it would be fun to toss my Rowan quad in here and just kind of track my progress on a quad, something that seems a little bit more approachable than this whole palette. And all of the shades in this quad are cream shadows, so they'll go bad more quickly than my other quads in my collection. So I ended up reaching for this a total of 6 times since the last update, and we can go shade for shade here in a minute. But I'm so excited to say that we do have our first official pan in this quad. And since I've owned this quad, this has been my most used shade. Aside from this year, it now is my least used shade. And I thought for sure this would be the first shade that I hit a pan on. But I actually hit a pan, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but I hit a pan on this shade right up here, which is, I really like. I honestly really like. This is probably not my least favorite shade, whereas this was my favorite shade, but I really love all 3 of these shades. I don't mind this shade, it's just not my absolute favorite. But we can go shade for shade so I can tell you how many times I've used each of the shades in this project. So this shade right up here, I've used an additional 3 times since the last update, putting me at a total of 12 uses. This shade right here, I have reached for 1 time since the last update, putting me at 11 total uses. This shade right down here, I reached for an additional 3 times since the last update, and that puts me at 8 uses on this shade. And then I have reached for this shade 2 times since the last update, putting me at 4 total uses on the year. So we haven't had a ton, like a crazy amount of use on this palette. This is not something that like I mean, it'd be cool if I finished off every single shade in this palette by the end of the year, but I just thought it would be fun to kind of track my progress. Hopefully I'll at least have a pan in each of the shades by the end of the year. And this is something that I feel more and more inclined to reach for as we like enter even warmer weather. And as I've been reaching for more simple looks, sometimes I'll just reach into 1 or 2 shades in this palette, and I've been finding that it really works well for those lighter face makeup days, but I still want like a pop of sparkle on the eyes. That's when I've been reaching for this most. It would be nice if I could reach for this maybe like 10 total times in some capacity by the next update. Like I feel like we're so close to pan on this shade. It would be really nice if we could get a second pan. I also kind of feel like I'm close to pan on this shade up here. So my goal maybe for the halfway mark through the year would be that I would have at least 2 pans in this palette. So like halfway to a pan on each of the pans, or each of the shades. but we'll see. All right, next up I have my Charlotte Tilbury highlighter Glowgasm Beauty Light Wand in the shade Pinkgasm, and I am going to be rolling this out just because I have a couple other blushes that are pretty similar to this that I'm working on in other projects, and I'm just really not feeling like panning this. The product that I'm going to be rolling in is a cream blush product, and it's actually a product that I included in my 24 products I want to finish in 2024. So I kind of want to refocus my efforts, and I've really been enjoying the blush I'm going to roll in, and I just feel like it works better for like my makeup aesthetic right now. So this is going to be rolling out. I'm not decluttering this one by any means. I don't know that I've even reached for this one time since the last update, but here is my tracking throughout this project. Maybe I'll roll this in again in the future, maybe I won't. Only time will tell. But as of right now, this is rolling out of the project. Okay, next up I have my Becca Glow Gloss. This is in the shade Beach Bum, and I have panned a Becca gloss in the past, and it is one of the glosses that just never ends. I feel like it's just a gloss that, one, has really good lasting power. Like you don't have to reapply it that much, and I just feel like there's so much gloss in here. Now, I really have only reached for this maybe 1 or 2 times since the last update, and it looks like the line marking is inaccurate, but there really is some gloss coating the walls right now. I actually maybe could even remark this. I'm looking at like where the majority of the gloss really settles. I'm gonna make a new line marking. There is just a little bit of product coating the walls right now, but we are just about halfway through the gloss by my best estimate, and this is a gloss that is going to be absolutely beautiful for the summertime. I love a bronzy look with a nude lip. I also love like a bronzy look with a pop of color in the summer, but I'm just imagining this as a great patio drinking gloss. So hoping that maybe by the end of the summer this could be an empty, but that would take really consistent use. So again, only time will tell. As of right now, this one is staying in the project. Then I have, and this one just fell on its side, so my line markings are also gonna look inaccurate. I really wanted this to be a rollout for this update, but I kind of forgot about this until like the last week or so I've been reaching for it. It's just a little mini size of the Makeup Forever HD Skin Foundation. I really wanna finish this before I do my mid-year makeup inventory update, because I do not want this counting as a makeup inventory product against my makeup inventory. So these are my line markings. I rolled this in 2 updates ago, or no, sorry, last update, and we were right about here. And now I would estimate when this doesn't have product coating the walls, we are just about halfway through the product, maybe just a little bit more. This is a little bit dry for my skin, and I've really only used this when I've mixed it with my L'Oreal Super Blendable Foundation. This combination I actually do really enjoy, so maybe I just need to like wear this combination every single day until this is an empty, but I'm really hoping that I can share this as a product empty next update with you guys. As of right now, that one is also remaining in the product. And then the last product before my empty is my Rose Ink Concealer. I rolled this in last update. I didn't have a marking, and I kind of like guesstimated where this is at today, which is right about here. I don't know how, like you can see I have a little bit of windowing right here, but I think that if I were to actually accurately mark, it'd be closer to up here. I don't know how I used this in the past. This is way too dark for me underneath my eyes. So I've used this a couple of times since the last update. The way that I've gotten to use this is I'll put like a little dollop of this on the back of my hand, and then I'll mix it with my Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer, which is way too light for me. And the two of those actually mix beautifully together and make a really beautiful, like perfect shade together. But it does take a little bit more effort, and I just feel like if I'm using it that way, I don't know that I'll be able to empty this by the end of the year, and that really is my goal. Because this is one of my older concealers in my collection, I was really hoping to move this out by the end of the year. I do kind of want to try using this as a foundation, like perhaps mixing it with like, I'm looking to see if my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless filter is right in front of me, but perhaps mixing it with like a glowy product like that and using it all over my face. I may have to give that a try, use it a few times to try and get a little bit of extra use out of this. But I'm not so hopeful this will be an empty by the end of the year. We shall see. And then my one and only empty that I have to share with you for this Rolling Project 10 pan update is my Milani Chill Out Primer. I am so excited to have this as an empty. I have talked about this primer for so many years on my channel as being a favorite primer in my collection, and I feel like I was doing that thing with this primer where I was like reserving it for special occasions, which is really silly because this is like a more affordable primer. So like even rebuying it isn't as big of a deal as like any other primer at Sephora. It's the Soothing Primer Wild Oat Extract with ceramides. This felt really nice and soothing on the skin, and it is silicone free, but it really did smooth out my skin. I felt like it really smoothed my pores out, and I just really enjoyed this primer. This is something I believe you can still get on Amazon, and it's something I would consider purchasing again, maybe towards the latter half of this year or potentially like next year after I get through a couple other primers in my collection. But this really does stand out as one of my favorite primers of all time. But I'm glad that I used it up rather than letting it go bad in my collection. So this is officially an empty, meaning we will roll something in to replace that, and then I do want to replace that Charlotte Tilbury contour wand as well as the blush wand. So to replace my primer, I am going to be rolling in another primer, and I'm rolling in the Nabla Radiant Plumping Serum Primer. I believe I included this in my 24 products I want to pan in 2024. I didn't cross-reference my list to double check, but I'm almost certain. And we still have a lot of this product left. I don't love this as a face primer. It is quite sticky. It does offer this really beautiful kind of golden glow to the cheeks, but it's sticky in like a, almost like a sticky gloss distracting way. It's not sticky in like a tacky way. It almost feels like it almost feels like a, how do I describe this? Not like sticky sweat, but there's just something I don't love about this. Like, you know, like a body oil that you would put on like maybe by the pool, and it doesn't necessarily set down, and then you just feel like you have like sticky body oil on yourself and you're at the pool. That is what this feels like, and I just do not love it for the face. I don't think it's flattering. So I think the way that I'm gonna use this is the way I just described, as an all over body glow. And I've done that a couple times the last couple of, not weeks, a couple days in the last week, and it doesn't even really add like a glow. It adds like a glossiness, and then it's sticky. It's really annoying, but it's not a product as I just talked about, like I don't have time for products that I don't really love. I just feel